Hey, Stano friends, it's Colin Key again. I'm over here at Stone Ridge Daycare, and today we're gonna just do a story. It's like literacy for toddlers. So we're gonna do it like it's I don't know where I found this story, but it's like legends, and because that's what like our people used to do, like usually in the evenings or during the winter time when you can't really be outside lots, then they just sit around, whether it was sit around a fire or just somebody just start telling some stories, and that whether or not it's true or some parts might have been left out or anything, but this is just one of the stories. This is just how I learned it. This one is called How the Buzzard Got Its Feathers. It's like long time ago, like birds, they never had feathers, and that's kind of what they'd look like. Okay, a long time ago, the birds had no clothing. They spoke like people, but they were shy. They hid from sight. Then one day, they decided to hold a great council. We must go see Sagwain and ask him for clothing, said the eagle. A one-hand goa, that's what we call the eagle. So it was decided, but who should carry this message? There's many of the different birds volunteered, but they finally chose the buzzard. He could fly great distances because of his long wings, because these buzzards, they're even bigger than eagles. He could fly higher, and so come more easily to the sun place where Sagwain lived. All of the birds burnt tobacco and sent their prayers up to Sagwain, and then the buzzard was on his way. It was a long journey, so the buzzard flew and flew. Well, because like sometimes you'll see like a dead animal on the ground or something. That's kind of what the buzzards, they like to eat. He ate the food he had carried with him, but he was still far from the place of Sagwain. He became very hungry, so hungry that he stopped and ate some dead fish that had washed up on the shore below him. They were rotten, they smelled bad, but his hunger was great, and he did not notice. He continued on his way. Now he had come close to the sun place. He went higher and higher. It grew fiery, hot from the sun, but he still flew up and up. The skin on the top of his head and the top of his naked head, meaning like he didn't have feathers or anything, it burned red in the sun's heat. But at last he came to the place of the Creator. So that's kind of how his head would have turned. So then he finally came to the place of the Creator. I have been waiting for you, Sagwain said, because I have heard the prayers of the birds. I will give you clothes made of fine feathers to take back. Then he showed the buzzard the clothing he had prepared. It was fine indeed. They were many colors, and the feathers as they are in the rainbow snake that arches across the sky and after a rain. There were so many colors in the feathers that the rainbow snake arches across the sky in the rain, and the feathers shone so brightly that the buzzard had to turn his eyes away from them. So that's just kind of how it is, like after it rains, and you can always see that rainbow going right across the sky. Now, Sagwain said, I know how hard it was for you to fly to me. You may have the first choice of all of these suits of feathers. Remember though, you may try them. You may try it on, each suit, only once. The buzzard was very pleased. I must choose the finest feathers, he said to himself. Then everyone will see them and always remember it was me who brought back clothing for all the birds. He tried on a suit of bright blue and white feathers and a jaunty cap. I guess that means like how on top of the head the feathers kind of stick up. No, he said, taken off. Not bright enough. And so the suit went to the blue jay. He tried on another suit of brilliant red, black, and a tall crest. So kind of like the same thing as like the blue jay. It's got feathers on top of its head. No, he said, I do not look good in red. And so that suit went to the cardinal. Then he tried on a suit of gray and black feathers with a scarlet vest. Again, he was not satisfied, and that suit went to the robin. So this is the robin, or chiscogo. He put on a suit as yellow as the sun, with handsome dark markings. Too much black on this one, he said, and that suit went to the goldfinch. So you can see some of these flying around. They kind of look like an oriole, but they're still a little bit different because like they got that black cap on their head and their wings are black. Creator patiently watched buzzard trying on one suit or another. None of them were right. Sometimes the feathers were too long. Sometimes they were not long enough. Some were too dark, others too light. None of them seemed to be just right for the messenger of all the birds. Finally, the buzzard put on a suit of clothes that was too small for him. Although all the other clothes had grown larger or smaller to fit whatever bird chose them, this last suit of feathers was very tight. The buzzard pulled and strained. Finally, he got it on. It left his legs and neck bare. His red skin on his bald head remained uncovered. He looked at the suit. Not fine at all. The feathers hardly had any color, just a dusty brown. They were not shiny and neat like the others. Buzzard was not pleased. This is the worst of all, he said. Seguindiso smiled. Buzzard, he said, this is the only suit left. Now it will be yours. And so to this day, as you can see the buzzard wearing the suit that he earned for himself, he still eats things long dead because of how on his journey. That's the food that he encountered. And although some make fun of the way he looks, Buzzard still remembers that he was the only one who could make that long journey. Even in his suit of dirty feathers that fits him badly, even with his head burned scarlet from the heat of the sun, he remembers that he was chosen to be the messenger from all the birds. When he circles high in the sky, he is closer to Seguindiso. That even in his ill-fitting suit of feathers, he is proud of himself. So that's just our story of how the buzzard got his feathers. Whether it's the version that you heard or somebody might have told you a little bit different, it's just like one of the stories. It's kind of got all the right stuff in place. So yeah, so that's been our little story for literacy for our toddlers. So yeah, I'm gonna get here.